It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. You can send me your emails as well. I read and respond to every single one at randykabc@gmail.com. That's randykabc@gmail.com. Well, today is a very special day. I don't know if you're aware. If you happen to watch local morning news, you might be aware. Today is National Dog Day. I didn't know this was a holiday. I'm going to have to start marking the calendar. Every August 26th, apparently, is National Dog Day. It is the day where we get to give love to our four-legged friends because, well, that's all they do is give us love. So I want to celebrate dogs. I want to celebrate how great it is to have a dog. I've got two great dogs. I'll tell you all about them. Here's what I want to do. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. You're going to hear a lot of pitches today about how the shelters are overcrowded, and they are. There are over 1,250 dogs at LA Animal Services shelters, and I think their capacity is only like 750. But instead of playing the heartstrings and playing Sarah McLachlan's Angel about how you have to rescue these friends, I want current dog owners to call in and tell me about how much dog ownership has improved your life, how much happiness your dogs give you. Give us a shout out to your puppies right here. If you'd like to give love to a specific shelter or a rescue, you can do that as well. Tell me how much dogs have improved your life. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. That's right. We're giving love to the dogs today. 800-222-KABC. And by the way, if you are in the market, not only are there great services like Pet Finder that'll connect you to a whole bunch of shelters and rescues, but even LAAnimalservices.com has a dog search. And you can even filter it by breed. So even if there's a specific kind of dog that you're into, you can look at the pictures. You can see maybe there is that connection that you can make. But I have been a dog owner for most of my life. There was a period between 2007 and 2014 where I was not a dog person because I lived in a studio apartment that did not allow dogs. And you know what happened? I got so desperate after 6 years of that I got a cat. Just kidding, Cat Jamie. My cat does the show in the room with me, and she doesn't care for it. You hear her squawking sometimes in the commercial breaks. But once I met my wife, I got to know her two dogs that she had at the time, Honey and Lyndon. They were both poodle mixes. One was a Cavapoo. One was probably a Cockapoo or a Maltipoo. And I fell in love with those dogs just as fast as I fell in love with her. And getting to move in, be a part of their lives because I only worked a 4-hour-a-day radio job. I got to walk them all the time. We took them on adventures. These dogs had been river tubing. In fact, true story. When I met my wife, her dogs had been on more airplane flights than I had at the time. That is true. Those two both passed in about 2019 because that's what happens. You know, we're going to outlive them. But you know what? You get back on the horse. I think we went about 3 weeks of having no dog in the house before we were back on the hunt. And our two dogs that we have now are rescues, and we love them both. And I'll tell you a little bit about each of them. At the end of 2019, almost the beginning of 2020, my wife and I found a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel that was in need of being rescued. A woman apparently was thinking of raising them, and she was very, very old in a wheelchair and didn't really know what she was doing, was probably kind of out of it. The dogs were not treated very well. There was this little runt in the group. She was afraid of everything. She was 9 pounds, which is way too small for a Cavalier. And we took her in, thought, okay, this isn't going to be like our old dog. She's not going to be social. She's just going to, we're going to give her a good life, make her comfortable. That dog turned into the floppiest, goofiest, most ridiculous thing in the world. That's our Lucille. We love her. She is the silliest thing. Her favorite things in the world are to sit on the couch with you. Anything better than that? Snugging in the bed with you. Anything better than that is food. That dog loves her food. And we was our COVID project. It was raising that dog. And, you know, it worked out great because since COVID, my wife has been working remotely. So the dog would work with her. And about a year into COVID, we were like, okay, I think we're ready to get another dog. I don't know if Lucy's going to like it, but we're ready for a second one. We start going through the pet finders. We start looking at some of the rescues, end up going to this rescue in Studio City, Wagmore, looking at this poodle that we were looking at because we missed having a poodle. And the poodle hadn't shown up yet. It was already fostered, and it had a lot of people that were there to look at it. And we go into the room, and there's this tiny little dinky-looking Chihuahua mix that runs up to my wife, runs up to her leg. She looks at it and says, oh, that's pretty cute. And then you're in this room where there's like 40 dogs. I'm shocked that we did not walk out of there with like 20 dogs because, oh my, was that a dangerous situation. And we're getting to know all the stories, and my wife is connecting with all the dogs, but then she starts thinking, what was that little tiny dinky dog that I walked in here with? And she made eye contact with her. She was at the under end of the room. She came running up to her. My wife picked the dog up, and this little tiny 6.5-pound Chihuahua mix fell asleep in her arms. So yeah, we took that one home, and that is our little Rita rat. She is my specialist little friend. Both of them together, I had no idea how they were going to react. They are the closest of friends. You see me post pictures on social media. They cuddle with each other all day. I think Lucy's fine with the personal space, and the rat just wants to be warm all the time. We travel with them constantly. We take them out to brunch. It's our excuse to go out and be social. We're dog nuts. We love our dogs. And those are the two that we have now, and we hope to have them healthy and happy for many years to come. They are such a source of joy for us, such a source of comfort. You know, my wife works at home all day. Rita will bark just once if somebody knocks at the door, so it's nice knowing what's going on there. They're the best. They're so much fun, and they're really easy to take care of. I would say easier than the cat because the cat complains a lot. No, I love my cat too, but she does like to complain. So here's what we're doing. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. It's time for a love letter to dogs. If you want to shout out your dog, tell me how much dog ownership has improved your life. If you have a rescue or a shelter you want to shout out to, because I'd like to inspire more people. If they've got the room in their home, they've got the room in their heart to get a dog in their family. You know what's great too? My wife and I don't have children. It's just not in the cards for us. But we have a niece on my wife's side, and I have a nephew on my brother. My brother has a son, so I have a nephew. And we have connected so well with those kids because of the dogs. We're the dog people. The little kids love dogs. My little niece Margot, when we first got to spend a whole week of Thanksgiving with her last year, she would just follow the dogs around and go, dog. She was like 1 at the time. Oh, those kids are great. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Tell me about your dogs. Tell me how much they've improved your life. Tell me why you think everyone should get a dog so we can clear out these shelters, but in an inspirational way, because boy, do these things make me happy every single day. They're my buddies. Let's go to Don in Malibu. Don, hello.
Hey, good afternoon. Hey, I've always owned dogs, horses, things like that. My last dog, Copper, she was actually a run through the litter Springer Spaniel, and they tried to drown her, and the guy got a conscience, I guess. I had to bottle feed her, but by all means, she was the best dog I've ever had. She slept at my 3 daughters' beds at night, and then guarded them, and then slept during the day. Sweetest, gentlest thing at night. Except at nighttime when somebody knocked on the door, she sounded like a pit bull. But the reason for my call was I've changed a bit because all the neighbors' dogs love me, and they're always over visiting me. The dog finds the owner doesn't find the dog. But I now like the idea that I'm seeing all these humans walk through the street with plastic bags in their hands, and the dog taking a big chow dump. And they're picking it up for them, all that steamy, and they're putting it in a bag. And I like the reversal where now man is serving dog.
And you know what? Good for those owners for picking that stuff up. I think it's totally okay to shame somebody who's too lazy to do that, but good for them. Wow, that dog sounded incredible. Thanks so much for sharing with us, Don. Appreciate it. You know, it does remind me, I didn't tell you about the rescue situation with Rita. So Rita came to this rescue from a hoarding situation. During COVID, there was this woman up in the Palmdale area that was like the person in the neighborhood that would collect all the strays. If someone couldn't deal with the dog, she'd take them. Probably the biggest heart ever, but she couldn't keep that lifestyle going. Through COVID, she lost her job, ended up living in her car with a crate of 25 dogs. Yeah. It got completely unmanageable, so she reached out to this rescue. The rescue was able to take in all the dogs, get them all adopted. That's how we found Rita, who had been there for like 6 weeks. And true story, and I'm still working on the end of this story, but Rita, my little tiny 6.5-pound Chihuahua mix, she did not get adopted for 6 weeks till we found her, although I swear I found her on Pet Finder like a month before and told my wife, oh, this is the dog. But, forget that. We took care of her. When she made it to the rescue, she had a baby. And we knew that, didn't really think anything of it, but she's a very unique looking dog. She's part Chihuahua, maybe part wire-hair terrier. She's ridiculous. I happen to be on Instagram and Twitter, and I follow a lot of people in radio because I worked with a lot of people in radio. Well, Kevin Ryder does a show, I think the same time slot over at KLOS, used to be Kevin and Bean. And he had posted a picture of a Chihuahua that looked exactly like my dog, who was the dog of this comedian, this guy, Taylor Williamson. And it was a joke. Is this like the ugliest little dog you've ever seen? And of course not. It's the most beautiful thing ever. But I showed my wife that picture. It's like, that's the dog. So I reached out to this guy on social media, had never met him before, and said, hey, just quick question. What rescue did you get your dog Betty at? And he told me it was the same rescue I got my dog at, the Waghorn Studio City. And I said, I think I have her mom. And so we traded pictures back and forth. We're arranging a meet date, and when that happens, it will be the cutest story ever told. All right, tell me about your dogs, everybody. It's National Dog Day. Let's celebrate how much our four-legged friends have improved our lives. Let's go to Hadass in L.A. Hadass, hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great.
Hello. Okay. So I've been very involved in rescue my whole life, and I volunteer at the shelter. And we really, 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 really need volunteers, and they have an Amazon wish list, and we really need help from everybody. Everybody can get involved in some way and help the animals. But I wanted to say that my dog, Simba, was rescued from downtown. I rescued him. He was stabbed on both sides and left in an alley, and somebody told me where he was, and I went down there and got him. And he's an amazing, incredible dog who's all about love. And my other Chulita, she was Chihuahua, 6 pounds like yours, and I found her in the dumpster. She was with her siblings when she was a few weeks old. Somebody threw them in the trash. And I thought it was a baby, and I was walking by the dumpster, and I climbed inside, and I took all these dogs. So I really want to say that we really need help. Everybody needs to volunteer and to take a rescue home and to save a dog's life, and they will save your life. They're just, they're all about love.
They really are. They bring so much joy every single day. Hadass, you had mentioned those Amazon wish lists. Where can someone go to find something like that? Because that's a real easy thing that someone could do right now.
It is. It is. When you go to the shelter, any of the shelter, website for any shelter, it talks about their Amazon wish list that they have, and they need everything. There's so many things they desperately need. So easy for us to get for them. And I deliver it, or you can send it through Amazon, and it's a really important, for them to have. They desperately need so many things.
They really
need
do,
volunteers,
Oh, yeah. People to walk them, to spend time with them. Dogs are social animals. They need to be around people, not just in a crate waiting for someone to take them.
That's right. A lot of them are just sitting in the crates, and they don't get out because they don't have anybody to walk them. So they really need our help and our love. And take them home and don't bring them back. Love them and give them a forever home.
I totally agree. Hadass, thanks so much for what you're doing for our dogs. Really appreciate it. Hey, if maybe you live in like what I used to live in, a studio apartment that doesn't allow dogs. Well, then that's a perfect excuse to volunteer. I mean, I know some of these stories can be heartbreaking, but they can also be so heartwarming. And I always say the good is always going to outweigh the bad because there is so much just love there. It's great. You'll feel beloved. The unconditional love of a dog is unlike anything else, especially the somewhat conditional love of a cat. Just kidding. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. We're celebrating International Dog Day. Tell me about your dogs. Tell me about a rescue or a shelter you'd like to shout out and how dog ownership has improved your life so we can inspire more people to help clear the shelters. LA Animal Services has 1,250 dogs available for adoption right now, and their capacity is only 750. So let's get involved. Let's see what we can do to help out these little friends. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. We're celebrating dogs today. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. We're taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Today is National Dog Day, a celebration of our four-legged friends. LA Animal Shelters currently have 1,250 dogs available for adoption. They only have a capacity of 750. So it's time to inspire. It's time to celebrate. Maybe get someone who hasn't thought about getting a dog to think about getting a dog or volunteering or donating your time or anything to help out this, these innocent loves that need some help. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Whether you want to tell me how much dog ownership has improved your life, shout out your dogs, promote a rescue or a shelter, this is the time to do it. 800-222-KABC. Let's go to Robert in Irvine. Robert, hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great.
I got my dog Cujo from Love Bugs Rescue down in Irvine area, and he's a terrier mix. I picked him because he was the ugliest dog, and I said nobody'd love him because he's got a severe underbite. But he loves to ride on my motorcycle, and when I back the bike out of the garage, he runs over and sits next to it to make sure I don't leave without him. And people love taking pictures.
That's great. A motorcycle riding dog.
People love it. I always, when I'm riding along, people get their iPhones out and snap pictures, and he's got a little helmet and goggles, and everybody loves him.
Oh, that's amazing. Robert, you have got to email me a picture of that at randykabc@gmail.com or on Instagram at Randy Wang Radio. I got to see that.
I definitely will send you a picture. You'll love it.
Thanks so much for the call, Robert. Appreciate it. I need to see the dog with the motorcycle helmet. That would make my day. 800-222-KABC as we give some love to our doggies. Let's go to Karen in Garden Grove. Karen, hello.
Hi, happy National Dog Day. I have a Kaya, my second Doberman that I adopted from the divorce shelter. And my first Doberman came from OC, and she was a little bit of she came from posher circumstances. And this dog had run away, my current Doberman had run away with her two 16-week-old puppies. And it was believed that she was a backyard breeder dog. And her boobies, they still sag. And two of her teats had stage 1 cancer when I got her. And I found her story. I'm a Doberman enthusiast. So I found her story on Facebook. And I was like, I heard her story. And I just knew she was my next girl. And I went to interview her at Devore. And she was completely despondent. She was terrified. From her kennel to the interview area, she just slow walked. She was down on the floor walking like a wild animal, like just terrified. And when I, interviewed her, she was very despondent. She just was. She barely let me pet her once, and she interviewed horribly. And I was like, my heart was so full because I knew this was my girl, and I was going to bring her back to life and show her a life beyond her wildest dreams. And her lower anterior teeth were, when I got her 3.5 years ago, it was, I think the vet said maybe she might be like 2 or 3. And her lower anteriors were worn down from trying to probably get out of cages. And so I'm not really sure about her age, but she is like the best dog. It took me, we got her spayed, got the cancer taken care of. And it took about 3 months for her just to learn how to trust me and teach her how to even walk on the sidewalk. It took about 3 months, but now she goes off leash with me. She knows all of my commands. She stops at curbs, waits for my okay to proceed onto the street. And she is really afraid of people, but she loves other dogs, and she takes a long time to get to know, to give her trust over still to people, but she's come a long way. And I guess the reason why I'm calling is, I as a rescuer am kind of now in need of some help for my dog. And my dad had a stroke and a heart attack, and I told God, I said, you know what, I'll give my career up, I'll give up my house, my contents, I'll sell everything, but I can't give up my dog. And I have a situation where I need to move. I need to be with my dad in Leisure World, and they're very not in agreement with larger dogs that look nefarious. And I now need to find a home for my dog so I can continue caring for my dad. And I just need a little help right now.
Oh, gosh, my heart's breaking just hearing that, but the resiliency and how much you've turned that dog's life around. Look, Karen, if you can send me an email when we get off the phone at randykabc@gmail.com with your situation, I'll see what maybe I can do. Maybe we'll put the word out on social media or something, and we'll get someone to help you out any way that they can. Does that sound okay?
Okay, thank you. And happy Dog Day to everybody for your fur babies. Thank you.
Hey, thanks so much for sharing your story. Send me an email. Let me know exactly what's going on, and I'll try to help at randykabc@gmail.com. Thanks so much for calling.
Thank you.
Wow, you could hear the love, the transformation, the resiliency. It's one of the things about getting a rescue is when they go from being afraid of everything to the ridiculous floppy dogs that they were supposed to be. Hey, we'll keep taking your calls as we celebrate National Dog Day. You got a rescue story you want to share? You want to give a shout out to a rescue or shelter? You want to tell me how dogs have improved your life? It's now your time to do it. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. You can email me as well. I read and respond to every single email at randykabc@gmail.com. That's randykabc@gmail.com. Today is National International Dog Day. It's a celebration of our four-legged friends. The shelters are definitely in need right now, whether you could donate your time, or you can donate money, or whether you can adopt. There are 1,250 dogs available for adoption at LA County shelters, and I think they only really have the space for 750. But this is about a celebration. So if you want to shout out your dog, tell me a rescue story, shout out a rescuer, shout out a shelter, this is your opportunity to do so at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. How has dog ownership improved your life? It has improved mine a ridiculous amount. I am happy every day because of my little puppies. Let's go to Monica in Lancaster. Monica, hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great.
Hi, happy National Dog Day.
Happy National Dog Day to you. What's going on, Monica?
Thank you. Hey, I just wanted to say I am employed by Los Angeles County at the Animal Care and Control Center in Lancaster, and I am the volunteer coordinator there. And I just want to give a shout out to everyone at Lancaster who works so hard to take care of these dogs. No matter how they come in, they're all loved. We try to do our best to find each and every one a loving home. And it's just my pleasure to be able to help get dogs out of there and help find ways for people to volunteer their time, their energy, and their love to these animals. So in addition to the Amazon wish list, you can share every single post of animals on social media. It spreads. It's so far spreading. We have an amazing lady named Rita Earl Blackwell, and she posts our dogs. She comes and takes photos, and we get so many dogs out that way. So just sharing them on social media is anything anyone can do from the comfort of their own home. You can also come out and help at adoption events. You can donate time, and even used blankets, towels, anything that, you think we could use, we can use it.
What if you have like a whole bunch of, a specific kind of cat food or dog food that you don't use anymore because your cat's so particular and doesn't like this kind anymore? Like, I got a big bag of cat food from another brand. Could I bring something like that to the shelter?
Absolutely. We accept non-opens, but yeah, even specific diet, we help out. Also, if you donate and it's something that we cannot use, we will donate it back to the community when people come in and have special needs for their pets, so that they can keep them in their homes and they don't have to turn them into the shelters. And, there are so many. I heard the lady earlier with her dog, and there are so many websites out there to rehome your animals. You can post video, pictures, tell about your dog, home to home, kennel to couch. There's just Pet Finder. There's so many resources now that I really feel like people don't necessarily have to surrender their animals. They can rehome them before they even have to enter the shelter system.
Oh, yeah. And if it's a situation like Karen who called in, you probably want a situation where you can get that dog back at some point. There's help out there if you're willing to ask for it. I love what you said about share the pictures of the dogs that are available on social media, because it is an easy thing to do. And at the very least, people get to see pictures of cute dogs. But at the very most, it might connect to somebody and be like, wait, I want to go meet that dog. That dog might be perfect for my kid or for my family.
Absolutely. We have people that have come from, San Francisco because they saw a picture of a dog, or people that are in other states and, they get in touch with networkers and rescues and they transport them to other states. So it's really important just to get these animals seen so they can find homes.
I love it. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing, Monica. You are really doing the Lord's work up there in Lancaster. And I'm so thankful that we have people like you that have huge hearts that are doing what they're doing.
Yes. And I have 4 rescues of my own. So, yeah, they're great.
They are the best. Monica, thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it. Let's go to Ray in Shadow Hills. Ray, hello.
Yes. How you doing, Randy? Yes. Very, very good. I almost can't make it after the girl before the other one whose dad is going to Leisure World. There is a suggestion. She might be able to get the dog trained as a service dog or something like that, and they may have to take it. So she should look into that.
That is a great suggestion, because yes, when you are designated as a service animal, you cannot be refused anything, and getting that designation is a lot easier than people think.
It really is much easier nowadays. Well, I lost my 2 dogs within 5 months at the end of 21. And I said, oh, God, I just got to wait and see what happens. I know something will come along. Well, February of 22, I run across these girls in Palos Verdes, these ladies, and they work on a euthanasia list. Talk about a pretty tough case. So I responded to their one post, and there were 2 brothers that were going to get put down on a Sunday, and I'm texting them on a Friday. So it was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't really take them right now. They they had kennel cough. I said, I'll foster them. And that's something else people should know. They need fosters, too. Some place to put them for a couple months. So by the time I got to foster him, an amazing dog. He's a Russian Wolfhound Shepherd Black Lab. And he was 55 pounds. A year and a half later, he's 105 pounds. But he talks to everybody, and he's amazing. And I have horses, and he loves the horses. And we have cattle here, and he likes the cattle. And he's just been the most amazing. I take him everywhere now because they can't refuse you anymore about bringing your dog in. I go to Walmart. I go to Kmart. I go to the supermarkets, everywhere. And it's just been amazing what he's done for me. And everybody stops me and talks to him. So they talk to you, too. That's been great.
That's amazing. Ray, it sounds like he is living his best life. Thanks so much for sharing your story. Really appreciate the call. And he's totally right. If you've got the room, if you've got the time, maybe you're not going anywhere the next couple of months, fostering is a great option to help out these shelters. 800-222-KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on National Dog Day. Talk Radio 790 KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. If you'd like to email us, you could do so at randykabc@gmail.com. Lane writes in, celebrating National Dog Day from a cat. She adopted Riley from Downey Shelter last November and wants to remind us that October 29th is National Cat Day. Well, if we did National Dog Day, we're going to have to do National Cat Day. Cheers to that, Lane. Hey, look at this. This is a really cool giveaway. 790 KABC welcomes Joni Mitchell, The Asylum albums, 1976 to 1980. This 4-CD set is out now with newly remastered versions and liner notes by Meryl Streep. Right now, caller number 9 at 1-888-790-5222 gets a 4-CD set of Joni Mitchell, The Asylum albums, and qualifies for the 6 LP box set. These prizes are furnished by Rhino.com. A good luck dialing. We'll get back to the phone calls. Kathleen will take you next. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. Let's go to Kathleen in La Habra, who's been holding. Kathleen, hello.
Good evening. I just wanted to share a personal story that I've had with a rescue organization. Since the 80s, I've had nothing but German Shepherds, and I've always purchased them from a breeder. And one of the last shepherds I had passed away, and I was really heartbroken. And I wasn't in the frame of mind to start over with a puppy and put all the time into training. I take training very seriously because a German Shepherd is it could be a potentially deadly animal if not trained. And I make sure that my dogs are well socialized and are proper dogs in public and heel and mind their manners. And so I wasn't ready to get another dog, and I was kind of grieving. I was grieving. I was in a funk. And I thought, well, I've got all this training. I think I'll do something with it. So I showed up at German Shepherd Rescue of Orange County. They were having an adoption fair, and I showed up. I was looking at their dogs and talking to the people that were working the fair and told them, I was interested in helping out, maybe fostering. And I went back 2 more times. So I went a total of 3 times, and I zeroed in on this one female dog that was kind of a low energy. Not a lot of people approached it. And I asked to walk her, and she was kind of timid. I could tell. I was kind of checking out her mannerisms. And the story was that they had found her. She had been hit by a car. And when I saw her, she still had a little bit, her teats were a little bit big. So they told me she had a litter, but they didn't find any of the puppies, which you have to wonder, did someone just let her go after she had the puppies and, they weren't going to deal with her anymore, or did she escape? I don't know. But whenever they mentioned that to people, they weren't interested. And she also had a metal plate in her hip. So that made her kind of a liability with people wanting to adopt her. And I said, okay, I'll foster her for 3 months, and I'll train her really well so that and I'll bring her to the dog fairs when they meet. And when people see her and how good she is, they're going to want to adopt her. And I made a little coat for her that said adopt me. And I worked with her every day, a couple times a day for weeks at a time. And I got really attached to her. And every time I took her to a fair or out in public wearing her little jacket, people would always ask, oh, how old is she? She's so good, blah, blah, blah. And I had to disclose, the minute I said she has a metal plate in her hip, nobody wanted her.
But then I got to imagine you decided that you were going to keep her. Sorry, we're running out of time, Kathleen, but I'm assuming that you're having a great time with her every single day, yeah?
Absolutely. Once I said, I'll keep her.
I'm so glad. Kathleen, thank you so much for calling in and sharing your story. Fostering to adopting. It can be done. We celebrated dogs today. I feel good. Go hug your dogs. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC.